You're getting very sleepy, very sleepy. Now, when I snap my fingers, you're gonna pick up that pen and you're gonna sign the offer. Are you ready? Guess what, people? That doesn't work. Not only does it not work, I think it actually might be illegal. That's not how we get people to write offers. But what we're gonna be talking about today is the 5 best ways to get people to write that offer. You know they like the house. How am I gonna get them to write it? What am I gonna say? What am I gonna do on today's show? So one of the first things, and this is not one of the 5, but I think that is important in almost any market, is every single buyer has the opportunity, in general, unless it's counted out, every single buyer has the opportunity to get an inspection, right? So, Mr. Buyer, during that 17 days here in California, you have 17 days for you to make a decision if you actually want to buy this house. You may not like something about the electrical system, you may not like the neighbors on the weekend, the neighborhood, there's lots of different reasons that you can cancel. So by writing this offer, just so you know, you're not bound until the end of that inspection period. So nothing to lose by writing it. So guess what, guys? All listing agents hate this approach. Why? Because they think maybe the buyers aren't as serious. But guess what? This is not a video for listing agents. This is a video for buyer's agents. So all hail buyer's agents and Zenu. So you guys all should know that the Comfort Close is something that's easy to use and almost all of you should be using it. And if you're not, shame on you. If you're not closing deals, you know why. Okay, so number 1 I want to talk to you about is the report card approach. So you remember back in school when you used to get your progress reports? You get an F, you get a D, you get a C, and get a B, you get an A. So what I want to do is I want you to think about considering having 5 printouts. So I'm going to go show property and showing 5 printouts today that I'm going to be handing to Mr. Buyer. And I'm going to say, Mr. Buyer, here's the printouts and details on each of the properties that we're going to be looking at. I want you to put a grade on each and every one of these properties. So sometimes they might get an F. For example, if there's a chalk line on the property, that might be something you may not want to consider. So that'd be an F. But there's a but for every C. Or you might give a C on this particular property where it's great. It's got a lot of the things that you like, but the neighbor's cat has 3 eyes and it might be from that power plant over there. Could happen. And this property might be an A. Why? It smells like baking cookies. It's got big rooms. It's got a beautiful pool. And hey ladies, take a look at the neighbor. Might work, maybe an A. So what's the closing line on that? Well, you gave this property an A, can't get much better than an A. You want to go back and write it up? There's your line. So now we're going to talk about number 2, the don't hug me approach. Also referred to as the investor approach. Now this is the one that I personally use. There are a lot of agents out there that are really kind of emotional, they connect with the buyers. You know, they're the person that are gonna say, can't you just see it? You got the Thanksgiving turkey over here. You got the kids playing in the yard over here. Oh, and hey, look at Johnny on Uncle Chester's lap. Johnny, get up. No, my whole point with that is I'm not that emotional kind of guy. I'm the investor approach. Now what I'm talking about is you may not give me a hug in the kitchen now, but you will be wanting to give me a hug in the kitchen in 3 years when I'm selling this thing for $50,000 more than the other properties that we looked at. I'm all about trying to find the best investment. So everything I'm going to give you, every piece of advice is all about the investment approach. I'm in the game myself. So for me, that's how I approach it. So the closing line for this one, so Mr. Buyer, we've looked at every 4-bedroom, 3-car garage, single story out there. We know this is the best one and this is the best investment from my point of view, just my opinion. But in my opinion, this is the one you should go right up. And if you do, I guarantee it's going to pay off in the future, at least compared to the other ones. So again, that's my investment approach. I'm just trying to get them back to the office for the simple reason that this is the best investment. And really when it comes to me, that's all I care about. That's my game. So that's number 2. Now let's talk about number 3. That's the one I like to call the car salesman approach, which happens to be the only profession that's ranked lower than a real estate agent. So anyways, the car salesman approach, and I'm not saying this in a negative way, but the car salesman approach is about this. You know you like the house, you know there's some great things about it. Why don't we go back to the office, put a pen to paper, and see what the payments will look like? So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna put a line here, Mr. Buyer. How do you feel about if we put down a payment of $28,000, put down a down payment of $28,000, your payment's gonna look something like $1,450 a month. Then over here, you know, your investment is, you know, you're basically gonna be getting at a deal. Here's what I think it's worth, da, 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 da. What am I doing? I'm putting a pen to paper is all I'm doing. It's just a great, easy way to get them back to the office just by saying, hey, why don't we put a pen to paper? That's the car salesman approach, and you got to give those guys credit. That's some of the best sales trainers in the world. And now we're going to talk about number 4, and number 4 is called the takeaway. Now this one's been around since the dawn of salesmanship, right? So what that is it's basically asking Mr. Buyer this simple question. So I know you like the house. I know it's great. Would you be upset if someone came along and bought this house out from under you today? Because if so, we got to hurry. So that's the takeaway approach. It's just the idea of saying, this could be gone right now. And again, the exact line on this one, if you're upset or have any reservations that you may want this house, it's not gonna last. We've seen everything out there. So are you ready to go back to the office and write it up? That's the takeaway. So now we're going to talk about number 5, one I like to call the assumption close, right? And the assumption close is just really being direct. Hey, I know you like this property, and if you were to make an offer on it, what kind of price would you be thinking? So what am I doing? I'm actually just really hitting them right up front is, do you like this property? If you would, how much would you want to write it up? Because once you start getting them talking numbers, you got some good stuff going on. So when I say assume, right, which makes an ass out of you and me and them, but the bottom line is they wrote it up, right? And our whole goal here is to encourage them to get back and write up the property that they want. It's called salesmanship, people, right? So it's not a big deal. Make an ass out of you and me. Let's do it, all right? So hope that helps, guys. There's the 5 ways that you can go about writing offers. It's not gonna work for everybody, okay? You choose the lines that are best for you, but have a line for God's sakes, okay? It's really important that you have ingested that line, that you own that line, that becomes part of your personality, because you're gonna be using it every single time, right? And last but not least, do me a favor, people. Would you please share this page? I also have a book on Amazon, The 11 Commandments of Real Estate Sales. Just share it, just make comments, like it. I need to know that you're watching. I need to know that you like it. I need to know that's helping, because that's why I'm doing it. And if you don't like it, quit watching. Anyways, thanks a lot, guys. Go use those approaches, close some deals, make that money.